Hi, welcome to my channel, Mo Moon Tarot. My name is Mo Moon. Today, the video is going to be about my 5 tarot cards of 2020. What are the 5 tarot cards that really touched me in 2020, that really identified with how I was feeling, how I was doing, what my hopes were, what I hoped to achieve? Welcome to my channel. My name is Mo Moon. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are somebody who has seen my videos before and is supporting me, welcome and thank you. So I'm going to be using my Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck to show you the cards that are my top 5 tarot cards of 2020. Now, I don't want to say this and give you the impression that I'm not appreciative of all the tarot cards, because each tarot card in the tarot deck, all 78 cards, have spoken to me in a really magical way over the past year of 2020, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the tarot cards for 2021 will be for me. So this is just going to be a comfortable video. Feel free to grab yourself a tea or a coffee. I have my coffee here. So good. So let's go with the first card. My first, but not in order, this is one of the 5 tarot cards that I could identify with in the year 2020 that just passed. The 5 of Pentacles. Now, why, you ask, would you choose the 5 of Pentacles as one of your top cards for 2020? Because the 5 of Pentacles looks like a really down and out card, a card of trouble, a card of hardship, a card of going through tough times. And I chose this card because I identified with it in 2020. I was going through a time where financially I was really in a bad place because I was on sick leave, and my pay had decreased quite a bit because I wasn't getting my full paycheck on sick leave. And I went on sick leave in October 2019 due to stress and a burnout. And in January 2020, I went back to work until March 2020, when COVID exploded and it became a pandemic. And the stress of COVID and the stress of going back to work too quickly from my prior sick leave caused me to fall back into a state of mental distress. And I really feel like the 5 of Pentacles came up a lot in my readings and in a couple of the professional readings that I had gotten in 2020. And I always understood when I saw this card that it was speaking to me and to the fact that I was in a financially difficult time, and that I felt lost and I felt left out in the cold, and struggling to stay afloat and to get out of a difficult time. And it's almost like with the 5 of Pentacles, when I would see this card in a reading, my heart would drop, but at the same time, I'd be hopeful in the fact that I knew that the source, divine, the universe, knew where I was at in life, and that I was being looked after, despite the fact that I was in a tough situation and struggling with my money situation. The next card for 2020 is the Fool card. And the Fool card for me was a card in 2020 that, looking back at 2020, I really realized that I embraced the energy of the Fool. Card 0 of the Major Arcana. I really embraced the energy of the Fool in 2020 because I started my witch's journey in January 2020. Basically when I was going back on my second sick leave. And I jumped into witchcraft. I jumped into a new path of life. I jumped into the unknown. And growing up as a Christian, it was something that I kind of did with my eyes closed. But at the same time, like when I say I did it with my eyes closed, I mean, I didn't really understand if there was going to be consequences to my actions of following the path of witchcraft instead of Christianity. But I knew that my heart was directing me towards that, and that there was no better time than the present to embark on that journey. So I do embrace the energy of the Fool, and I feel like every time I would see the Fool in 2020 when I would do a reading for myself, or if somebody else was doing a reading for me, I would see a green light. I would see hope. I would see freedom in the energy of the Fool. So the third card that I could identify with in a great way in the year of 2020 was the Sun card. And the Sun card is a card that I never really pulled a lot in 2020. I didn't pull the Sun card very often. I can only think of one time that I pulled the Sun card in 2020 where I was brought back to memories of being a 20-something-year-old and pulling tarot for myself. The Sun card is a card that when I look at this card, this specific card, it really screams tarot to me. And the idea of it screaming tarot to me also screams magic, divination, some sort of hidden taboo. And yet it's such a positive card, the Sun card, that because I went through a really rough time in 2020, and I'm not the only one, but I went through other things other than the pandemic that made my life rough in 2020. But when I did see the Sun card in at least one of my readings, I was overjoyed, and I knew that it was reflecting an energy in me that was an energy that I knew as my own, because I felt like myself. My sun sign is Aquarius, and when I pull the Sun card, I think about being in my own element. I think about being, because my blood type is B positive, and I've always tried to be a positive person and to spread positive energy. And so the Sun card really speaks to me because not only does it remind me of the tarot and the magic of the tarot more than any other card in the tarot deck, but it also makes me feel like I'm at home. I'm in a warm space. I'm in a space of growth and a space of illumination, a space of hope and light, and just being me and just feeling like I'm basking in the rays of the sun. That's all the feeling I get from the Sun card. And so when I drew the Sun card for myself in 2020, I really did feel like I was going back to a time where I first started reading tarot, and tarot was magical. And I never really, when I was in my 20s, I never really journaled my tarot spreads that I pulled for myself. I actually got into tarot through a colleague at Costco. His name was Benoit, and we worked together folding clothes after noon. I worked at 4 o'clock in the morning, but by the time noon rolled around, the store would be open and I'd be folding clothes in the clothing area where people are constantly rummaging through the clothes to find their size. So me and Benoit, we would come up after the people who had gone through the clothes, and we'd refold the clothes so that the displays were looking organized and nice. And Benoit started talking to me about the tarot one day, and he suggested that I buy myself a tarot deck, and that if I drew the cards for myself and came back to him with what the cards were that I drew for myself, that he would decipher the cards for me. And so I did go out and buy myself my first tarot deck, and I drew the cards, and I wrote down what each card was and in what position. And I came back to him, and one thing I remember was that I drew the Lovers card in my spread. And a couple months later, I met my partner, who I've been with now for over 16 years, sometime over 16 years, almost 17 years. And so the tarot was accurate in showing me that I would meet a lover and that it would be the love of my life. And after that, I only remembered playing with tarot a handful of times, but I would always imagine the protective white light around me before I would draw my cards, protecting the energy and the space that I was in with my tarot. And I would never really talk about the meaning of the cards when I would see them all displayed in front of me in my spread, but I would look at the cards and I would look at the picture, and it wasn't an explanation in words, it was an explanation in a feeling that empowered me, that made me feel like when I was looking at the cards that I drew for myself, I would get the meaning simply by the feeling I would get, and I would feel empowered. And I fell in love with the tarot. And so the Sun card, this card that I pulled for myself a few months back in 2020, really brought me back to those times in my 20s where I would just be in love with the tarot and read the magic of the tarot. So that's the Sun card. So the fourth card is the Queen of Cups. The fourth card, but not in any specific order, not necessarily the fourth card in order from the first, but one of the 4 cards that I really, really embraced and loved to get in a reading for myself in 2020 was the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups was somebody that I yearned to embody. I'm an air sign, so you know, I am more supposed to be leaning towards the Queen of Swords, but I don't know why I just lean toward the Queen of Cups. And my moon sign is Leo, my rising sign is Aquarius, so it's not like any of my 3 main signs are water signs. In fact, I don't even think I have that much water in my chart. I have Uranus in Scorpio, so Uranus is the planet that rules Aquarius. So because I'm an Aquarius sun and Aquarius rising, I do feel like maybe my ruling planet being in a water sign could have something to do with it. But the Queen of Cups is so magical to me. She embodies somebody who knows how to feel. She knows how to feel, and not just feel her own emotions, but feel in her heart, in her being, the emotions of others around her. And that's why she holds the Master Cup in her hands, you know, of truly understanding people and truly understanding herself, and not being afraid to feel and to let those feelings come out, and just to embrace love and embrace herself and embrace people around her, and nurture people to be honest with themselves and to let them be their true identity in front of her. So I do feel like the Queen of Cups was just always in 2020, and even now in 2021, I still am in love with the Queen of Cups. And I love seeing her in a reading because I just feel like I identify with her so much, and my heart just goes out to her. And, you know, her sitting by the water's edge. I live 10 minutes from the water. So, you know, when I walk over to the water, I feel the energy of the Queen of Cups for some reason. Like, I've drawn the Queen of Cups by the water side before. And maybe that's why I associate her with the water's edge near my house. But I've drawn many other cards, including the Fool, by the water's edge before. But the Queen of Cups really, she cuts deep into my soul, and I just feel like she calls to me and she pulls out everything inside of me and just allows me to feel. And I love that about the Queen of Cups. So much smoke. I hope you're enjoying this. And the last card out of the 5 cards that I picked as my top 5 for 2020, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So the 9 of Pentacles, why did I choose her? Well, when I first learned about finding a card that represents me as an individual within the tarot, I was really drawn to the 9 of Pentacles. Like, I really feel like the 9 of Pentacles was everything that I wanted to be, was everything that I wanted to embody. And it's only later that I realized that the 9 of Pentacles embodies a woman who is independent, who is rich, not just in material things, although I did want to be rich in material things like the Queen of Pentacles, not the Queen of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles. She's almost like a queen to me in the sense that she's so disciplined, she's so independent, she's so abundant. She knows who she is, and she knows how to tame the beasts around her. She isn't afraid to enjoy luxury. She isn't afraid to enjoy life and the fine things in life, and just being able to relax when she wants to, but also embodying that hard work and discipline ethic within her. So I do feel like the 9 of Pentacles was the card I decided to use to represent me, and I put the 9 of Pentacles card on my altar. I used the 9 of Pentacles from several tarot decks, including the Golden Tarot of Klimt, and the and the Green Witch Tarot. I have put the 9 of Pentacles on my altar before to embody my energy and to represent myself. And anytime I see the 9 of Pentacles in a reading now, or when I was in the year 2020, anytime I would pull the 9 of Pentacles in 2020, and will continue to do in 2021, but every time I would pull this card, I would say, that's me in the reading. More than anything else, this 9 of Pentacles is identifying me as an individual. So I picked the 9 of Pentacles as one of my top 5 tarot cards for that reason. So let's just look at the 5 tarot cards that I picked. So, and in no particular order, of course, I don't have one that I like more than any other, although I do find that the Sun card is my favorite card in the tarot. I do enjoy all the cards that I picked for 2020. So we had the 5 of Pentacles, the Fool, the Sun, the Queen of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles. So those are my top 5 tarot cards for 2020. So I hope this was an interesting reading for you. What are your top tarot cards for 2020? It could be 5 tarot cards, it could be 3 tarot cards. I challenge you to find 5 tarot cards for 2020 that really spoke to you, because I feel like it's a good number. And I know someone else has done this YouTube video subject matter, although I haven't watched it. My sister told me about this subject of choosing your top 5 for 2020, so I can't give credit to that person, but I will let you know that this wasn't my idea, but I thought it would be interesting to do it for myself. And I challenge you, if you're into reading tarot, if you're interested in tarot, to start using the tarot and to find out what your top 5 cards are going to be for 2021. By the end of 2021, what will be the top 5 cards that you've noticed the most in your reading, or that you've resonated with the most in your readings? And if you have been reading tarot over the past year, 2020, what were your top 5 cards? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember to like this video if you found it interesting. Subscribe to my channel, Momoon Tarot, here on YouTube. And hit the notification bell so that you don't miss when I upload a future video. Again, it was nice to have you here, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.